What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Let me turn down the music a little bit. I'm fucking tired. I'm exhausted. I woke up at 4:45 this morning to watch it. Slept in a little bit. I was planning on waking up at 4, but I ended up going to sleep at midnight, doing a little Zoom drinking call with my buddies. It was a good time. So I'm exhausted, man. I'm exhausted. Yeah, I gotta say, I love the episode. It kind of, I did not know that it was, first of all, warning spoilers, I did not know that, the episode was going to be 55 minutes long. I sat down in the old computer chair, expecting a cool 25 to 30 minute episode, and then I was like, oh shit, here we go, let's make some more coffee. But I loved it, man. I loved it through and through, from the very beginning, that cold opening with, the Gamorrean guard, like, cage fight. That entire sequence was great, moving all the way to the end. We will discuss everything in between. It was super exciting. It was, I mean, like, I feel like with every episode, oh, that was my favorite episode. New episode comes out. Oh, that was my favorite episode. But this episode might be my favorite episode. I loved it, man. One of the things that was really surprising to me, or that made me laugh quite a bit, was the Tusken Raiders running. I don't know why. I loved seeing Tusken Raiders run. This extreme like telescope.
The show still feels grounded in smaller scale while also introducing new large scale set pieces with the Crate Dragon. Feel like they've upped things on a technical level. Very pleased with how they handled that reveal.
Absolutely, Vince. I greatly appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I'm going to need some pep today. I'm dragging ass, guys. I've had too much coffee. It's doing nothing for me. I need a good night of sleep before Halloween, right? But Caleb Kemp, Vince, and Caleb, good to see y'all. Hope you are doing well. Caleb Kemp says, hello there, Suka. Hello there, right back to you, Caleb. General Kenobi, hope you are doing well, man. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm assuming you've watched it. If you have not, you might want to bail on this. There's going to be a lot of spoilers mixed all into this. I didn't label it, but this is going to be a short and sweet 30-minute stream, and I'm probably going to end up doing a little stream tonight as well, talking about it. But anyway, Vince. Caleb, thank you so much, man. Hope you are doing well. If you have not seen it, go watch it. If you have seen it, stick around. But I appreciate it, man. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much as well. Vince says, love the show. Still feels grounded in smaller scale while also introducing large scale set pieces with Crate Dragon. Feel like they've upped things on a technical level. Very pleased with how they handled that reveal. Couldn't have said it better myself. You think... Crate Dragon, a raiding party, which turns into a hunting party. One of my favorite little shots and moments in the entire episode was when, hey, look, everybody gets to eat. Everybody gets to eat good. Everybody is stocking up on Crate Dragon carcass meat. Mando throws some on the back of his speeder bike. Maybe he's going to bring it to Amy Sedaris and they're going to cook it up like a T-bone. I loved it. I loved that. But I thought it was fantastic, man. It does still feel smaller in scale and scope, and I think one of the reasons is because, Mando, he's not in Coruscant. He's in this, what was it, Mos Pelgo? Mos something. What was it called? Mos Prego? Not Prego. He's in these small little settlements, these small little villages, and solving big problems for small places. Does that make sense? Large problems for small places. Pelgo. Was it Pelgo? Okay, that's right. Hermanos. What's up, Andre? Tan, I do have a video. It's already pretty much done. I just need to render it. I don't have time to jump in front of the camera, so it's going to be one of those boring-ass, like, audio-only videos that I make that's going to scroll through pictures. I just haven't found the time to... with family coming over for Halloween tomorrow, and did a lot of orientation stuff yesterday for the upcoming career, and 4 hours of sleep. And the weekend is shot. I'm not going to be able to do anything on the channel. So it's going to be one of those videos where, I got like 55 pictures saved, screenshots, and it's just going to be my dumb voice talking. But yeah. Anyway, Vince, I appreciate it, man. The Crate Dragon was great. Once again, like if you would have told me that a Crate Dragon was in this episode, massive scale, I would have been a little iffy just because to me that kind of stuff sounds a little goofy, but God, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Some of the details, too, like of how Mando told the Marshal how the Tusken Raiders, how the Sand People have been testing the Crate Dragon over the years and have basically calculated its feeding schedule, I guess. I can't remember the exact words he used, but they basically like know when to feed the Crate Dragon to make it the most docile and make it sleepy and make it less hungry. So they'll like leave banthas outside of the Crate Dragon's cave, which is a converted Sarlacc pit, Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. You know, trimmers, crate dragon trimmers, right? But yeah, I loved that, like, little details, right? How Tusken Raiders have basically figured out the biological clock of this thing, and have done their damnedest to try to, like, tone its try to control it the best they possibly can, right? But yeah, I loved it, man. I loved it. Can't wait. Has it been announced that whether or not the future episodes in the season are going to be 55 minutes or an hour or so? Or is this just kind of the first episode in the season, so they made it longer? I don't care either way. I kind of like the short and sweet jolts of fun, you know? But, yeah, anyway. I appreciate it, Vince. Hope you're doing well, man. Glad you enjoyed it. Let me take a big swig of the old water here. They will all be around 50 minutes. Oh, okay. There we go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where did it go? There we go. I don't know if this is in the correct order. I got Caleb. I got Eli. Oh, one second.
Fett's return, but the way they handled it and Cobb Vanth was really well done.
Dude.
Very excited to see where they take it.
Caleb Null, Eli Foreman, Caleb Kemp, Stephen W. Fothery, Desmond O'Brien, AT Chow. What's up, man? And Sapity. Thank you all for these super chats. And the channel support this afternoon. Be patient. I'm tired. I'm long-winded. We got lots to talk about. I appreciate it, guys. So one of the things that made me laugh was the character at the beginning who is basically running this fight, voiced by Jon Favreau, who ends up getting eaten by a bunch of red-eyed animals. Reminded me of the dad from Dinosaurs. You guys remember Dinosaurs? I'm the baby, gotta love me. I don't know why. The way it moved, the way he talked, it reminded me of the dad from Dinosaurs. Don't know why. Don't know why. I say that in my review video, which will go up probably tonight or tomorrow. I don't know why. It just reminded me. The way he ran, the way he walked. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, the dad from Dinosaurs has 2 eyes. This guy's has 1. But yeah, I don't know why. Anyway. Caleb Kemp, thank you so much, man. Can't believe they brought back an OG character. Come on, R5 again. He was the first season already. Let's get some original ideas. Caleb, what's up, Caleb? Hope you're doing well, man. I'm going to need you as my co-pilot. We got to figure all that shit out. What was I going to say? Yeah. That took me off guard, man. And I didn't realize that R5 was in the first season until I looked it up. I didn't realize it until I looked it up after I watched the episode. I was just doing some Googling around. I wanted to see if somebody already added him to the Mandalorian on Wikipedia, and obviously they did. And then I read that he was mentioned in the first season, or Jon Favreau said he was in the first season, but that completely passed me by, I think. R5 in Mandalorian season 1. Let's see. I don't remember seeing him in there. I believe Jon Favreau just mentioned him, but I'm not sure. Yeah, man. He's had a rough life. Yeah, for sure. But I appreciate that, man. That was a little subtle, like, oh shit moment. One of those kind of things where, you know, that's such a small little, I guess you would call it a cameo, that do you think most people that are watching it, like, who don't live and breathe this shit constantly, know that where that R5 unit's from? You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe it's recognizable. I liked how Amy Sedaris turned and just yelled R5. Just, I don't know why, it made me laugh. But anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. Hope you are doing well, man. And Eli Foreman, thank you so much. Cinematography still continues to amaze me, knowing most was filmed on a screen. Yeah. Plus Anakin pod speeder cracked me up. Was that actually his speeder? I thought it was just a pod race. Is it really his? I guess it was. I didn't know that it was actually his. But the design is practically identical. There are two options. Options. Either the Marshal has made a speeder out of the leftovers of Pod Racer, or Anakin's Pod Racer, which was made of scraps, was created using. So it could be, it couldn't be. Similar, different paint scheme, I guess. Couldn't be. I'm sure they'll come out and say it was. It'll be one of those tie-in things for sure, right? But, yeah, Eli, I just continue to be blown away by the show. This was, I mean, God damn it, this might be my favorite episode of the show. I just loved how the structure of it. The beginning with the cold open and the setup and all that kind of stuff, and then we get to, this adventure on Tatooine. Oh, mentioning the music as Mando was flying to Tatooine, that was awesome. I mean, I can't think of it in my head, but I remember loving it. I can't really remember how it goes. But yeah, I remember loving it. It was so triumphant and adventurous, and dude, yeah. Everything about this episode I thoroughly enjoyed. The crate dragon stuff, the raiding party feel of it, trying to blow up the crate dragon from the underbelly, just watching the Tusken Raiders run. I loved it. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, Eli. I hope you're doing well, man. What's up, 6 foot? Show me. I'll make that clean. Caleb Kemp, thank you so much. Favorite little thing, the aspect ratio changed at the crate fight. Love the episode. Where did it go? Love the episode. P.S. Are you just going to combo the October Patreon Q&A into the November? Yes, that is 100% what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to take all the questions from October and push them into November. I don't think any notifications went out in October for when I posted it, and I only got a few questions. So I'm definitely going to be lumping them in for sure. I did not know the aspect ratio changed. Roar Ash. One sec, Caleb. One sec. Roar Ash, dude. In my video, my audio is like 19 minutes long, but no joke. The video that I am uploading about this episode, and I'm assuming you're talking about Galaxies and this episode, I got huge Galaxies vibes in this episode. And do you know where I felt it? When Mando went to Mos Pelgo? Is that what it was called? I can't remember now. I felt like he was walking through a player-made, a guild city, dude. All of those houses, buildings, whatnot, it felt like he was walking down the street of a player-made city. I got such huge Galaxies vibes. And it's kind of funny that you mention it. I heavily mention it in my video, and I ask anybody else. In my video, I say, does anybody else get this vibe that played Galaxies? But anyway, yeah, for sure. Hell yeah, man. But Caleb, I did not notice that. I will absolutely be watching this this episode again for sure. But I didn't realize that. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. And yes, I will be lumping him in. And Stephen W. Fothery, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Steven says, new Mando episode was a perfect episode of a perfect show until the last 5 seconds. Not thrilled about Fett, but we'll see. Still had a great time. You echo my sentiment 100%. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, you guys know how I feel just about the concept of resurrecting characters that we see basically die on screen, right? Come on now. Maul was cut in half. Boba Fett got digested. Palpatine got thrown down the shaft. I'm not a fan of bringing characters back. It's always felt really goofy and cheap, and I understand it. I understand as fans we want to see more of what we love, but damn it, at a certain point, I don't want to mulch over the same shit. It's like uninspiring to me. So I'm kind of reserving judgment until we see the execution of it, right? So the two examples that I just gave, Maul and Palpatine, right? They are very different. I did not like the execution of Palpatine. The execution of Maul returning was great. And we have the people who brought Maul back in the Clone Wars working with Mandalorian. So hopefully it'll be as great as Maul coming back. That being said, like I don't think I will ever like the concept of bringing characters back. Even if it is super well done, it's just an idea, a concept that just feels boring to me. And again, I get it. I love Han Solo. Sure, I would love Han Solo to be in so much shit. Oh, one sec.
Of The Mandalorian, and I was blown away. It was so awesome. I loved every moment of it. I too got massive galaxy vibes from it. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
Bill, thank you so much. I had a huge swig of water in my mouth. Bill, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. One sec, man. One sec. But yeah, Steve, I'm kind of reserving judgment, but as a general concept, I kind of disagree with constantly bringing characters back. The idea does nothing for me, just, I don't know. We shall see. But there's still a hope that it's not him. I mean, until they say Boba Fett on screen, I think people are still going to be like, maybe he's Rex. Maybe he's just a random clone, which it could be, right? Could be. But yeah, that's him for sure. That's definitely Boba Fett. Desmond O'Brien, thank you so much for the channel support. Desmond says, I was on the fence regarding Fett's return, but the way they handled it in Cobb Vanth, is that what it is? Did they ever say his actual name? Cobb Vanth? Why is that so weird to say, Vanth? Where did it go? It was really well done. Very exciting to where they take it. Yeah, he was a great character. The Marshal was a great character. And I loved the way he came on screen. The jingle jangle of the spurs. He walks into the saloon. And it looks a little comical, right? At first, it looks a little comical. Him wearing the armor, he doesn't have all the full suit. It's bits and pieces pieced together. He doesn't obviously. It's not 100% Fett. There's no Under Armour basically, but it's pieced together. It looks great. It looks goofy, and there's a little humor in it, right? There's a little humor in it. And I loved the reveal of it. I loved how that armor was, the Jawas were in control of that armor, and the Marshal made a trade for the armor, and that's how he acquired it. Who knows if the Jawa had like any knowledge of the worth of this armor. They certainly did not know the history of it. I like that kind of shit. I like when, we as audience members put so much, oh, this fucking Boba Fett's armor. Yeah, and then the characters are like, yeah, it's just some piece of shit armor that is inside of a Jawa's, a sand crawler. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's Boba Fett's armor. The Jawas just fucking sold it to some dude. They didn't know what it was worth. Not everybody in the Star Wars galaxy is going to know what these things are worth, right? I like that kind of stuff.
Gonna try to explain this best I can. I love that the show doesn't feel important.
Yeah.
The show isn't overmarketed and overblown. It was just the next episode of a show I love. It's comfortable. Take your time, lol. Lot to read.
That almost goes parallel with what I just said, Vince, right? There's Boba Fett's armor! I just punched my microphone. There's Boba Fett's armor! Yeah, just inside of a Jawa sandcrawler. It's kind of like how I loved the reveal of the Millennium Falcon in The Force Awakens, right? It's just a hunk of junk sitting in the desert. It's been sitting there like somebody's old Ford Explorer, 1995 Ford Explorer sitting outside of some shithole's house. Well, yeah, anyway, Vince, give me 1 sec, man.
Loved the western feel of this episode too. From Mando riding into the town to the blaster hip shot on the Marshal.
For sure. Bill, thank you so much, man. And Power Beam, thank you so much as well. Give me 1 sec, guys. I appreciate the patience, and I appreciate the support. I'm gonna have to translate. Or could somebody please translate that for me? Or was that was that mess up on their part? I don't know. But I appreciate that, Desmond. I love the way it was handled so far, at least. Yeah, for sure. Timothy Oliphant was fantastic as well. No question. AT chat, thank you so much. AT says, I think tomorrow is playing Ahsoka, to be honest. They've just become one. I appreciate the giggle, man. Yeah. It is kind of funny. Like, I don't think there's any question, in my mind at least, that is Boba Fett. Now, I've seen people say, what if maybe it's Rex, maybe it's a random clone. Could be, obviously it could be, but, yeah, what if Boba never shows back up? That one little moment at the end is it. I would love it. Anyway, I appreciate that, AT. And Sapity, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Sapity says, just seen it. Mind fucking blown. Loved it to the detail. Just hope they keep the rest of the season this good. Unlimited overjoy. It's unbelievably good. Like I said, I watched it at 4:45 in the morning. Recorded some audio, walked downstairs. My wife was getting ready for work, and I was like, that was fucking great. And she hasn't watched it yet. She hasn't watched any of the first season, and the reason is she wants to. The reason is because, like, I have to wake up at 4 in the morning to be able to watch it, to be able to talk about it, to be able to be topical about it, and make a video about it, and that kind of stuff. I guess I don't need to. I don't really... I mean, I could just do it over the weekend or whatnot, but I want my weekend with my family. So in order to... This is how it was last season, too. I would wake up at 4 in the morning, watch it, make a video, boom. It's done. Do streams throughout the week talking about it, too. So she hasn't watched it, and it's all my fault. But, yeah, it's mind-blowing, man. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so simple. I love it. I think this is my favorite episode so far. I just love the structure of it for sure. But I appreciate that, Sapity. Garrett Poncho, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I recognized R5, but not the Marshal. I don't know where the Marshal's from either. That's a character that I am not familiar with whatsoever. Obviously, yeah, recognized R5 for sure. It looks like, and this is the first I am looking his character up and his appearances up in on Wikipedia, and I wouldn't have looked this up if it wasn't for you, Garrett. So apparently he appears in Aftermath, which is a book that I own and I've never read. And he appears in so he appears in the Aftermath Chuck Wendig book. He appears in Aftermath Life Debt, and okay, so the sequel to that, and he appears Empire's End. So those 3 books. Interesting. Okay. I did not know that. I mean, I'm sure if I read those books, I would have recognized it, but recognized him rather. But maybe I wouldn't have. Did he ever say his real name? Oh wait, did he use the Marshal as his like nickname in those books too? The show did say his real name? Oh, I must have missed that. I completely missed it then. And he read it, and that was his nickname in the book too? Okay, interesting. So, yeah, that passed me by. I did not hear his real name in the show. Interesting. He was known as the sheriff in the book. Oh, okay. Yeah, this might be a video that I make, man, just so I can do a little research on my own and get up to speed. I like those kind of subtle connections with book characters and stuff like that. I hope we see Ransom Casturfo one day in a thing. I think he's my all-time favorite, like, non-film, non-TV book Star Wars character. But anyway, Garrett, I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to read his entire Wikipedia page, and I am going to probably do a little research video on it. I think that would be good for me, and maybe good for people that want to know the information as well, but don't want to read it themselves and want me to read it to them. Like a little night-night bedtime story, right? Okay. But I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the info. And Bill Moiner, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well. Where did it go? Bill says, "Hey Greedo, just finished watching chapter 9 of The Mandalorian, and I was blown away. It was so awesome. I loved every moment of it. I too got massive Galaxy's vibes from it. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it." Yeah, that video should be up either later or probably tomorrow morning. I basically have everything's done with it. I just need to put the video together and render it. So it'll probably be tomorrow morning or tonight that I get it up. But, Caleb, ice cream crystals. I even mentioned that in the video too. But yeah, Bill, I loved it. There's like, first of all, thank you so much for the ridiculously generous super chat channel support, multiple this afternoon. Yeah, I think this is the episode, more than any episode from the first season, that just completely blew me away and just drew me in from start to finish. I loved the pacing of it. I loved God, there was such a fun, adventurous nature to it. I loved like the raiding party, the hunting party that kind of spawned from these two rival factions, right? Dude, I loved everything about it. It was fantastic. I mean, God, it's just such a fun show, man. It's hard to believe that we got this beautiful, fun Star Wars live-action show. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It's so crazy. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's weird. I got Galaxy's vibes too, and I mentioned it in the video. And I specifically talk about how Mos Pelgo reminded me of a player-ran Star Wars, like, Guild City. It's hard to explain unless you played it, you know. But yeah, man. I appreciate the hell out of that, Bill. I can't wait for the next episode. But, yeah, that video should be out either tonight or tomorrow morning. But, anyway. I appreciate that, man. And Justin, thank you so much. Justin Sofaro? Justin says, late tuning in, but also it was literally a KOTOR mission on Tatooine for Revan, and I didn't hate it. Oh, that really was? I feel like there was something else where you had to kill a crate dragon in another game. KOTOR, crate dragon, Revan. Dune Sea Crate Dragon and Star Map. Part 20. Crate Dragon collecting powerful items. Interesting. Yeah, somebody else mentioned something else that it felt like. It was like an old Western movie, specific part, I can't remember. But, it kind of reminded me of, like, old whaling books. They were literally, like, jabbing and shooting harpoons into this thing as if they were on a ship, like, trying to get Moby Dick, right? Timothy Oliphant's character, the Marshal, even says Leviathan, which is like a giant serpent, right? In mythology, it's a giant serpent. So it was like that, but on sand. It was just kind of cool. But yeah, so I've never played KOTOR from start to finish. I've maybe logged like 8 hours in it my entire life, Justin. Yeah, that is one game that has been recommended so many times to me over the years, and I remember owning it when it first came out. But back then I wasn't that into RPGs and stuff like that. So, yeah. I've tried to play it a few times on live streams. But I feel like it's the kind of game that I wouldn't want to stream. Like, I feel like I would get more into it if I would just sit on the couch and play it on my Xbox, But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Justin. I need to install KOTOR on my Xbox. I think that would push me into playing it more. But anyway. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much once again, man. Gonna try to explain this best I can. I love that the show doesn't feel quote-unquote important. The show isn't over-marketed and overblown. It was just the next episode of a show I love. It's comfortable. Take your time, LOL. Lot to read. I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. It feels at the moment, internally in the show, like the stakes are small, right? I mean, we're going on these little missions. Boba Fett. The Mandalorian is kind of, one foot in front of the other, trying to find his way, and we're just along for the ride. Dude, Baby Yoda the child was kind of in this show, but it was all about just this mission. It's I don't know how to explain it either, man. Things that you mentioned, it doesn't feel important. I like that about the show too. The example that I gave earlier was, oh my god, the show could have been like, oh my god, that's Boba Fett's armor. Oh my god, that's Boba Fett's armor. I'm sure people were doing that, but the show was like, yeah, the fucking armor was just in some sand crawler from Jawas. Not a big deal. It's just a thing in Star Wars that the audience puts so much love and attention on, but internally in the story, nobody gives a shit. Do you know what I mean? I loved it. But, yeah, it's really hard to explain. Yeah, you said it's not over-marketed. It's not overblown. It's paced really well. Despite maybe some huge, like a crate dragon being in it, it still feels relatively grounded and small, doesn't it? Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Vince. Cheers, man. Onward to the next episode. And Bill Moiner, once again, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Bill says, loved the Western feel of this episode, too, from Mando riding into town to the blaster hip shot on the Marshal. Yeah, even like when Mando strings that guy up by his feet, like on the lamppost or whatever it was, the light post. That was straight out of somebody, tying somebody to a tree by their feet and leaving them dangling like that, blood rushing to their head, right? So much like that. Throughout this episode, where even like there's like Native American vibes with Tusken Raiders. That's not a parallel. I'm just talking about like differing factions, right? You have your lawmen from like a nearby town, and then you have your Native Americans in a lot of movies and a lot of old westerns, and sometimes they come together, and sometimes they have to form an alliance. Sometimes they have to work together. And it had even those kind of vibes that paralleled some westerns of back in the day, right? Yeah, I feel like this was even more of a western than the first season. At least it felt that way, for sure. But, yeah, man. Yeah. Is the music too loud? I just realized that. I don't know if I turned it down fully. I guess it's all right. Let me know if it's too loud, guys. Yeah, I like how the armor didn't properly fit on him too. I loved it. I loved it, man. Absolutely. I mentioned that in the video too. It should be coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning. Yep, Will Row Hood's ice cream maker. I mentioned that in the video too. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. Power beam. Can I translate this? Let's see. Is it? So Power beam typed this into the chat. Can anybody translate that for me or tell me? Let me scroll up. Can I find it? Can anybody... Trying to see if anybody translated it earlier or Powerbeam mentioned it. He was, of course, Boba Fett. Is that what it is? Let's see. Okay, so Japanese to English. He was, of course, Boba Fett. Nice. Nice. Powerbeam, I like it. I dig it. So, yeah, there's no question in my mind that he's Boba Fett. Powerbeam. Going into the show, I was kind of suspecting or maybe hoping that it was going to be Rex or a random clone. I liked the idea of a random clone more than Boba Fett, I've talked about this ad nauseum now, but like just the general concept of bringing characters back has never really done anything for me. Whatever. So I liked the idea of Temuera Morrison playing a random clone, on the outskirts, on Tatooine, wherever, just living his life. That was an interesting concept to me. But there's no question in my mind now that, unless it's the biggest bait and switch ever, which if that was the case, I would laugh and love it. But yeah, there's really no question in my mind right now that is Boba Fett. I think at this point, maybe if somebody thinks that it's not, they might be lying to themselves a little bit. But anyway, Power, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for letting me, or I appreciate you letting me do a little research too, having to hunt down a little translation. But I appreciate that. And Eli Foreman, thank you so much for the channel support as well, Mr. Foreman. Do you think Mando has knowledge of Boba's armor? No, I don't. Eli. And this is a good example of like things being super important or to us, super detailed to us. We are in the know. When characters internally in the stories might not have any clue, right? I like that. Would you expect, everybody to, or even Mando to know anything about Boba Fett, a bounty hunter with Mando armor? Would you suspect that? I wouldn't. It's a big ass galaxy, right? Time has passed. I wouldn't suspect. At least I like the idea of the galaxy is so big that not everyone is going to know everything about everyone. You know what I mean? Even to the point of like, in The Force Awakens, they thought Luke Skywalker was a myth, right? Or maybe not. Maybe some of the tales weren't as true as they were. There was some ambiguity there, right? They didn't know if Han Solo, the smuggler, the great general, there's some ambiguity there. And I like that. It's a big ass galaxy. Hell, on Earth, we don't know everything about everything around the planet, right? Even the most monumental events or people, not everybody knows everything about. I mean, I remember hearing stories in 2001 during the invasion of Afghanistan where soldiers were talking to Taliban and they didn't know that man had landed on the moon in 1969. So, yeah, it's a good example of sometimes not everybody is going to know everything about the biggest shit in the galaxy. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Eli. I think it would be cool for him not to, and not have this sense of importance of this armor or of this character that we might have, right? But yeah. But I appreciate that, man. And Subterrell Prospector, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this afternoon. Subterrell says, this just shows that Tatooine is such a rich place for more adventures and lore. I feel that the Kenobi show will continue that. Happy Halloween. Right back at you, man. Yeah, it's, you know, I'm always the guy that says, give me new. But this breathed new life into a place that we've explored before, you know, and we saw Krayt Dragon living inside of a Sarlacc pit. We saw more interactions with Sand People, Tusken Raiders, you know, a random settlement that had been, you know, oh, one of my favorite things, Subterrell, is not off topic because it's the Mandalorian, but I loved the flashback from the Marshal explaining like what happened to this settlement and how he acquired the armor and all that kind of stuff. But what I really loved about it was how they're watching that hologram or that news feed or whatever it was of the second Death Star detonating, exploding, right? And the way he explains it and the way this is exactly what would happen and has happened on planet Earth, but if there was a galaxy-wide empire that crumbled, this is what would happen. You know, everything would not be hunky-dory. Everything would not be peace and flowers. There would be a huge power vacuum on every single planet, in every single system. A huge power vacuum would open up, and every dastardly son of a bitch with a blaster would want to fill that power vacuum with their organization or you know, seize things for themselves. And that's exactly what happened. This mining collective, as he called it, swooped in and basically said, this is ours now, right? It was a great, I loved how the show showed that, you know, it wasn't all fireworks and Ewoks dancing. Yeah, the Empire's gone, but that, in this area at least, might cause some bloodshed and chaos. More so, you know what I mean? I loved it. I loved how that it showed that power vacuum, even though it was subtle. I thought it was really well done. But anyway, I appreciate that, Subterrell. Yeah, it gives me even more hope for the Kenobi show, right? But yeah, anyway. And Ethan, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Ethan says, I think Maul and Palpatine's return were a lot harder for me to accept than Boba Fett. Will be interesting to see what Tamara Morrison does. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting that you say that. I've never really differentiated or thought about which is more believable or harder for me to accept. I think the reason... Ooh, I don't know. I think probably the reason that the Palpatine one is the worst one for me is because I didn't like the execution, but also because, you know, I had general knowledge of what Maul did in the Clone Wars before even watching the Clone Wars. I had general knowledge of, you know, Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit in some of the Legends stuff, and so that was kind of accepted to me, despite me not liking it and thinking it was a little goofy. But Palpatine, on the other hand, you know, obviously Dark Empire, Palpatine clones, all that kind of stuff. I read the comic back in the day. I have 2 copies of it. I didn't realize that. I'll have to take pictures of them. But 2 copies of the comic, rather. I never read the book. But so it was a little harder for me to accept. I don't know. I don't know why I have that in my brain, Ethan. I don't know why I'm not a fan of like characters coming back. I don't know why I can appreciate the execution but hate the concept. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know if I do a good job explaining it. But as a general concept, it's something that I've never liked. Just because it always feels a little cheap and boring to me. And I get it. Like I said, I get it. I love characters too, and I want more of them. But sometimes it just feels ham-fisted for the sake of just. Yeah, it makes the world feel smaller for sure, Toffee. But anyway, I appreciate that, Ethan. We shall see the execution of it, right? And Vishnu, thank you so much for the channel support. This was awesome episode. And when I saw Cobb Vanth character from the books, I was so happy and excited. That was, well, you probably heard me earlier. Was it? Yeah, I think it was Garrett brought it up. I had no idea that he was from something. I did not know that he was from Aftermath, that trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. I've never read those books. I own the first one. I bought it when it was first released, like what, in 2014 or something like that. Never read it. Just I don't know why. So it's a character that was brand new to me, and now I want to jump into those books and check out where he comes from, what he's all about, and how he ties in, how he ends up on Tatooine, right? So it's those subtle connections to other material that I think The Mandalorian does superbly. I think more than any other, show or movie or comic or whatnot that we've seen, I think The Mandalorian's little tie-ins are fantastic. They're often just so subtle that, most people, it might go right over their heads. You got R5, that's a big cameo, right? But it was subtle. I mean, he was in there for a few seconds. Amy Sedaris just yelled R5, and he comes rolling up, right? I dig it, man. But yeah, makes me Vishnu. It makes me want to read Aftermath. Check it out. But need to get it on my Kindle because I think I'm over paper books, man. I think I'm over physical books. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate it. And Caleb Null, I noticed this too. I even mentioned it in my video. Caleb says ice cream crystals. Yeah, man. Little Wilro Hood ice cream maker cameo in there. It is literally what, or the contents inside of it, is what was handed over to the Jawas to acquire Boba Fett's armor. And I believe it was also in Rogue One too, right? Wasn't it? Wasn't the Wilro Hood ice cream maker in Rogue One too? I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's a thing that I've talked about before. Yeah, another goofy, like low-key, small nod to things that came before that the vast majority of people will think nothing of, but somebody that sees that and knows what it is will be excited, just a little nod, just a little Easter egg, right? Mandalorian does Easter eggs better than any other Star Wars thing I've seen, right? But yeah. The ice cream maker was in episode or season 1 of Mando? It was, really? I think it was my favorite as well, JC. Oh, interesting. Okay, I gotta look into that. Anyway, I don't remember that. I appreciate that, Caleb. And Bill Weiner, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. It held Mando's Beskar payment for delivering. That's right. I remember that. Sat it down in front of the client, but what's his real name? Werner Herzog. Yeah, that's right. Anyway. Bill Weiner, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Bill says, the shots of Baby Yoda were really awesome too. Since any shot of him is gold, it's about finding the platinum ones and getting those, which they did. Yeah, and he, I liked how he he really did take a backseat in this episode, and he works for me even better than normal when he does take that kind of position, you know? Just an observing kid, you know, hanging back. Obviously, he was with Amy Sedaris through much of this episode, but yeah, I loved the beginning where him and Mando are walking into that little boxing match, you know, and they're walking through these streets that are just full of graffiti. And yeah, I love it. I loved it, man. I screenshotted plenty of shots of old Baby Yoda. And I like how the show, yes, it's a phenomenon, right? People are just like gushing over Baby Yoda. It's the thing. It's on every single goddamn t-shirt at Walmart. It's everywhere, right? The child. But the show plays it down. The show has, you know, the child's there. It's taking its time, as it should, explaining its origins, explaining, you know, what its connections are, explaining its powers, explaining everything. I am so glad that the child is kind of still taking a back seat to, still taking a back seat at the moment. You know, I'm sure that'll change down the road, but I still like how it's not just all Baby Yoda all the time. I mean, the show could easily turn into like a Target graphic tee section where everything is just Baby Yoda, dripping Baby Yoda. But it's not. But anyway, I appreciate that, Bill. And Kyle McGowan, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Let me take a quick sip of the old water. Kyle McGowan says, I personally didn't care for the episode. We've already seen him help a village, Chapter 4, Monster and Cave, Chapter 2, Tatooine Egg Celebration, Chapter 2, Boba. It was too familiar, but I'm hopeful. Yeah, I get it. I mean, we've seen a lot of that kind of stuff in the Clone Wars as well, right? Not from Mando, but from other characters. You know, helping a village, teaching them how to fight. It's not exactly the most groundbreaking new ideas, but it is executed so damn well, you know, so damn well. I guess if you were looking at it from that perspective of like things we've seen before, I could see why maybe it would be a little disappointing, but I think the way this was executed over the 55 minutes that we got was better than either of those chapters, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know where else they could go with, like, I mean, man. What changed it for me was, what probably elevated it for me was the character of the Marshal. If it was just Boba Fett and everybody else was just helpless and, you know, had to help fight and whatnot, some incoming baddies, yeah, that probably would have felt too familiar. But, you know, getting all the villagers, the people in the settlement together to go on like a hunting party, to go on a raid to kill this crate dragon, and just a bunch of them getting mowed down to try to, you know, I guess, save their village, but also teaming up with a rival faction, you know, and the Sand People and the Tusken Raiders. It was different enough to me to where the obvious parallels weren't too, didn't bother me, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love the interactions between the villagers and the Tusken Raiders, the sign language of it all. Oh yeah, and then Mando becomes Agent J from Men in Black. Will Smith, he's Agent J, right? Not Agent K. Yeah, Agent J. Becomes Agent J in the Men in Black. Oh no, Agent K goes in, doesn't he? Yeah, Agent K goes in. No, wait. Who goes in? Well, no, Tommy Lee Jones goes, "Eat me! Eat me!" And he gets eaten, but no, yeah, it is Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, that's right. That's right. How to get my gun back. That's right. I gotta re-record some goddamn audio then. Nah, I'm gonna let it fly. It's an honest mistake. Hate me. You're nothing but a, what does he say? You're nothing but a smear on the morning newspaper. You're nothing but a smear on the morning newspaper. Is that what he says? How is this not a quote? Men in Black. You're nothing but a smear on the sports page to me, you slimy, ugly, let's see, slimy, ugly intestinal parasite. Eat me! You're nothing but a smear on the sports page to me, you slimy, ugly intestinal parasite. Eat me, eat me. Love it. Yeah, one of my favorite movies too, man. That's one of the movies that I'm most excited to show my daughter. Men in Black is just a pure fun. I mean, it's so fun and different and weird that if I really think about it, it's hard to believe that a movie like that got made. It's like a dream come true movie to me. I don't know how to explain it. I was obsessed with that movie back in the day as a kid. I played that soundtrack non-stop, dude. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, Kyle. Sorry about the Men in Black rant. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Think Boba will be mellowed out, man, of the wilderness, just making his way, or will he still be a total prick? I get the vibes that he's... Well, that's really hard to say, man. I would like to think that he hasn't been searching for his armor this whole time, and he hasn't been like... I would like to think that maybe he's mellowed out a little bit. Maybe he's just making his way. Well, then again, he's standing there. He's obviously looking for it. He's obviously keeping tabs on things, right? So I want him to be a little man of the wilderness, right? A little trying to just kind of live, but I have a feeling he's gonna be a total prick and hunting for that armor. That being said, like we've discussed, Vince, over the past hour, the show does a good job of not propping up and making a big deal out of things that we make a big deal out of, right? So maybe he won't give a shit about that armor. But maybe he sold his armor to Jawas to survive. Yeah, that could be true too, the movie buff. That could be true too, you know? But, yeah, who knows, man? I kind of hope that I kind of hope they play him down and he's not some, like, uber badass wanting his armor again because that Boba Fett armor rules, you know? But, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Caleb Null, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well. Just wanted to point out that if it's either Boba or a clone, both would know of the Jedi and point Mando in the right direction. Boo! Never thought of that. Never thought of that, Caleb. That is absolutely probably what's going to happen, Caleb. Right? That is a solid guess of what's going to happen and how the path is going to be laid out for Mando. That makes complete sense. That's probably what's going to happen, right? Mando and Boba are going to interact, or maybe Mando and this clone, I'm saying it's Boba, are going to interact. Gonna point Mando in the right direction to bring this child maybe to to where it needs to be, or at least point him in the right direction, right? That being said, what if Boba Fett is still a bounty hunter? I mean, I could see him doing that too. and is trying to get the child for himself, right? Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that Boba knows that could come into play for sure, right? Interesting. I hadn't thought about that, Caleb. That's a pretty solid thought where things are going to be going. Edgar, your skin's hanging off your bones. Sugar and water. More. Let's just turn this into a Men in Black quote-a-thon, Vince. Cheese Films, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Final super chat and channel support. No, you're right, Caleb. Final super chat and channel support of the stream before I jet. I was planning on going for 30. We went an hour and going to be 10 minutes or so. Cheese Film says, do you think the mystery character at the end of the Gunslinger episode in the first season was the Marshal or Boba? I'm guessing it was Boba, man. I'm guessing it was Boba, which is kind of funny. I made fun of that idea, that very concept, and I think, obviously it was just... It's kind of interesting because a lot of people who want these things to happen, their mind instantly goes to like, oh, that's going to be Boba Fett, right? Is this going to be an instance where they're right? Most of the time, that kind of shit is way off base and wrong. And then my brain goes to, nah, I don't want that to happen. So my brain automatically goes to, nah, that's not Boba Fett, right? It's interesting. It's interesting how, like, where you lie on what you want to happen dictates how you perceive and interpret things. That's not just with Star Wars, that's with life. But, yeah, so I don't want Boba Fett. Therefore, no, the jingle jangle of those boots is not Boba Fett. Somebody who wants Boba Fett says, the jingle jangle of those boots has to be Boba Fett, right? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. I'm guessing it was Boba Fett, though. Jeez. Now that we know a little more info. But yeah. Anyway, guys, we're not hosting an intergalactic kegger here. All right, everybody. That is it for me. I might actually do a little stream tonight. Little pre-Halloween stream. I'm buzzing with this Mandalorian shit today, man. Like I said earlier, I went to bed at midnight, did a long 4-hour drinking session on Zoom with some of my oldest friends. Late night, midnight, woke up at 4:45, watched the episode. I'm tired, but I've been buzzing about this episode. I told my wife after I watched it, I walked downstairs. She was getting ready for work, and I was like, that was fucking awesome. So yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm doing a review. It's basically all done. I just need to edit it together and render it out. It's either gonna be up. It's probably gonna be up tomorrow. To tell you the truth, I'm probably gonna have to wake up early, like at 5, and edit together and get it rendering, which sucks, but it's all right. A lot of the things that I've talked about in this hour session that we've had right now parallel a lot of my thoughts in the video that I'm going to be uploading. So if you want to go back and listen to this hour chit chat, feel free, or wait for the 20-minute video that I'm uploading tomorrow morning, or probably not tonight. It's already 3 o'clock. I need to get a bunch of shit done. I got a lot of family coming to town to watch my daughter, or coming over tomorrow to watch my daughter trick or treat. So, going to be cleaning up, getting things ready for that. But all right, guys, fun ass episode, man. I think it was my favorite episode of the show of all time. So, anyway, to everybody who supported the channel through super chats this afternoon, thank you so much. Channel survives because of you. Tomorrow, look for that video, or tonight. I don't think I'll be able to get it tonight, so don't get your hopes up. I do have a video scheduled for tomorrow morning. It is a Halloween video, reviewing The Evil Dead and Hereditary. But, alright guys, have a happy Halloween if I don't see you before then. So, anyway, let's end this stream with a fun, upbeat trip to a 1990s mall. Let's go buy some Airwalks, maybe some tie-dye kits. Cool. Let's go buy some Power of the Force Star Wars action figures from KB Toys. Shall we? Alright, everybody, happy Halloween. Fuck yeah, Mandalorian, we're back. See ya!